Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 127. Hope all of you are having a wonderful day. I am still, in case you can't see the video podcast, I am still in my parents' basement. So if there are any random dog noises or unexpected noises, I apologize ahead of time. However, still going to have a great mini-sode. Today's topic is going to be, I don't even know, I have a list here in front of me, but I don't have them all numbered. So I'm going to go through them. I think it's like 9 or 10 different ways to avoid late night eating. Can't talk. Good start already. So late night snacking, late night overeating, after dinner time, how do you avoid basically going over your calorie goal? If you have a calorie goal, or overeating at nighttime, you constantly snack at nighttime. What are some techniques or tips to prevent that? That is what we're talking about in this minisode. And so let's go ahead and dive on in because I've got quite a few for you. The very first one is going to be the most obvious one that we should probably all take heed. Take heed. I don't remember the last time I've ever said that. It's the one that we should all listen to, but we don't, right? And that is, you should probably just go to bed earlier. Most of the time, the reason why we are overeating at nighttime or mindlessly snacking is because we're just bored. And whenever we have these certain snack foods and these delicious comfort foods, especially if maybe we're bored and we're also stressed. So by eating these hyper palatable foods, these delicious foods, it's going to give us the dopamine rush that we're looking for. It's going to give us some feeling, right? And I think that's one of the main reasons why we do it in the first place. And so for the most part, the best advice I can probably give is just to go to bed earlier. I think that even if you have late night snacking or not, that's going to be good advice. So if you can, try to get to bed earlier. If it is literally you're snacking right before you go to sleep. Okay. Number 2 is going to be have a more filling dinner. And so the way that you should do this and the way that I talk with my one-to-one coaching clients about is basically just knowing this ahead of time, that you like to have a pretty big dinner. Or if you constantly find yourself snacking at nighttime, snacking after dinner, well, then you might need to just have a bigger dinner. And to make sure that you can have a bigger dinner, you need to make sure that you plan that in your overall calorie budget for the day to balance that out by having smaller meals for breakfast and lunch, right? So I think having, let's say you have 2,000 calories in a day. Let's say you have 600 calories at breakfast, 600 calories at lunch, and then you have 800 calories for dinner, right? So making sure that you are giving yourself enough food, because what sometimes can happen is people can, maybe they have a calorie budget for the day and they use up more of that calorie budget for breakfast and lunch. And then whenever dinner comes around, they kind of are stuck with a smaller amount of food and smaller amount of calories to work with. And so they're already on quote unquote like poverty macros, basically. And then so they don't eat that much. It's not very filling. And then late night comes, they get hungry again, and then that's whenever they overeat. And once they have that one snack or something, and as soon as you decide to say, fuck it, right, then it's all downhill from there. Then it's like, okay, I have this one Oreo, that one Oreo turns into an entire sleeve of Oreos, right? Because whenever you've gone off track, why not go really off track, right? So the biggest thing here is to make sure that you have a more filling dinner and plan for this by eating fewer calories earlier in the day and having plenty of fiber and protein at dinner to make sure that you stay satiated for several hours after dinner. Okay, number 3, keep trigger foods out of sight. This is going to be the probably the easiest one for many of you, assuming you don't have children. Well, actually, I'll give recommendations for both of these. So if you don't have children, then you don't need to buy certain sweets, right? If you have full control over what goes in your fridge and pantry, and et cetera, then you can simply just not buy the shitty foods that you keep eating late at night. And that's going to kind of force you to make better decisions just as a default, right? So keeping trigger foods out of sight. So for the most part, keeping them out of the house is probably going to be your best bet, just because that creates some friction for you to either, one, you're going to have to go to the store to get them, or you're going to have to, actually get in your car and drive to like a drive-through or something like that. But most people aren't going to actually take that step. So keeping the trigger foods out of sight can be helpful. And now, if you want to, or if you have children, or you have a spouse or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and they don't want to get rid of those foods. Maybe they like eating these certain foods and it's not practical for you to just get rid of all the delicious treats in the house because you want to lose some body fat, right? Dictatorship. But so when this is the case, then you just need to actually get them out of sight. So out of sight, out of mind. This goes for food as well. And so for me, what me and my girlfriend do is we have these snacks in the house, but we put them in the little weird cabinet above the fridge that's like kind of hard. You've got to like reach up and towards like the back you can't even see, well, at least for us, I can't even see what the hell I'm grabbing. I just have to kind of like feel around. And so even just knowing that I have the extra work that I have to do, it prevents me from going to that cabinet in the first place. And I know the only stuff in that cabinet is more energy dense, not nutritious foods, right? So I know if I'm going to that cabinet, there's a reason for it. Otherwise, I ignore it completely, because if you have these snacks and you just put them in your regular cabinets or easily visible in your pantries. So at my parents' house, you walk upstairs in the pantry, you open up the pantry, the very first thing that you see at eye level is going to be donuts, chips, and other delicious treats. And it's just like, if you're starving at nighttime and you go over to the pantry and you're trying to find something to eat, you don't know what to eat, you open it up and then the donuts are just staring you in the face very easily. They're already opened. You just pop it open real quick, eat a donut, and then you can be on your way. Of course, it usually turns into 3 donuts and chips and whatever else. But the thing is if those donuts were not at eyesight and you put those donuts, maybe in the back of the pantry behind a bunch of, a bunch of shit or whatever, just, it depends on how messy your pantry is. But basically what I'm saying is put them in the hardest to reach, hardest to see place, put other foods even in front of them if you want, or you could go to the very much extreme. And if you have a basement or something, put those foods in a cabinet downstairs in the basement. So you still have them in the house. Sure, it's a little bit ridiculous. However, it's just like, this is an easy way to put an extra step, to put more friction between you and the choice you don't want to make, right? So putting them downstairs, that can be another way instead of just getting rid of the foods entirely, right? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to rapid fire through these, because as usual, I talk too much. But okay, number 4, find late night hobbies to avoid boredom eating. So like reading, stretching routine, cleaning, journaling, chess, etc. Right? Like there's so many different things, of course, that you could do. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair this with number 5, which is make sure eating isn't your trigger to wind down for the night, right? So associating food as a reward at the end of the night for you to wind down can be a slippery slope, right? I think that the key here is that food can be a reward, but it shouldn't be the only reward, right? There's no reason why we can't enjoy food, and I'm the same way. Like, I love having a certain meal or a treat after dinner to kind of put a hard stop to my night, and it kind of gives me a little bit of reward. But as long as that's not like my emotional reward that I go to every time I'm feeling stressed or bored or sad or whatever, and you use food to cope with that, that's whenever some unhealthy eating behaviors can come of that. So the idea is to use these other late night hobbies instead of eating. These other hobbies, like I said, so reading, stretching routine, cleaning, journaling, chess, etc. Finding different things to preoccupy your time that can make you feel good and reward you afterwards without it being a certain food. All right. So number 6, plan for a low plan for a low calorie snack. So if you're constantly eating snacks at nighttime, sure, try and make your dinner bigger, but also just have a buffer at the end of the day. Maybe plan out 200 or 300 calories to give you that buffer intake. Like, okay, I'm probably going to want a snack tonight. And so my favorite combination is a combination of sweet and salty. And what I do with that is Greek yogurt with some berries. So blueberries, raspberries, whatever, or a clementine, or if you like watermelon. These are all going to be great choices that give you that sweet. And then the Greek yogurt, of course, is going to be filling and gives you some protein. And then 1 or 2 single serving bags of 100-calorie low-fat popcorn. Orville Redenbacher has a 94% fat-free kettle corn single-serving bag that is delicious. And I say single-serving bag because there are 100-calorie bags, and whenever you're done, you're done. You don't have the entire bag in front of you to keep eating. The other snack, talking fast gets me out of breath. Okay. The other snack I really like is I also used to put Quest bars. I would get cookie dough Quest bars. I would put them in the oven. I would bake them for whatever, like 5 minutes or something like that. And then I would put them in, I would bake them. I would cut them up, and then I would put those in my Greek yogurt as like little cookie dough, quote unquote, chunks. Definitely not the same, but you're dieting, it is what it is. So put them in the Greek yogurt, and then you top that with some Walden Farms 0-calorie chocolate syrup. I'm telling you, it's pretty good. It's nothing like regular ice cream, but it's still pretty good, especially if you've been dieting for a while. Okay, number 7, if possible, stop buying higher calorie foods to keep them out of the house. Just realized I kind of repeated myself on that one, so we're good. But here's the other ones that other people mentioned. So somebody else said they brush their teeth. So number 8 would be to brush your teeth after your last meal, and that's going to prevent you from eating more the rest of the night. I thought that was genius. I thought that was really smart. Brush your teeth after your final meal. Somebody else says, I drink soda water and add bitters to liven it up. She says she splurges on the new flavors she doesn't normally get, and she said she finds a ginger lime flavor that's hitting the spot. She said also, if you're in the U.S., check out Fairlife ice cream. It's lactose free and decent protein. I'm a big fan of Fairlife products as well, so that's I endorse that too. So yeah, soda water, bitters. All these different things work. And the last one is, she says, I have been enjoying a cup of chocolate mint tea with 1 tablespoon of chocolate mint creamer. She said it's like drinking a chocolate bar. She said it's the Stash brand tea for all of you who want to try that. Chocolate mint tea. There you go. That's how we're going to end this mini-sode. Real quick, rapid fire. 1, go to bed earlier. 2, have a more filling dinner. Number 3, keep trigger foods out of sight or out of the house. 4, find late night hobbies to avoid boredom eating. Number 5, make sure eating isn't your trigger to wind down for the night. Number 6, plan a low calorie snack after dinner. Number 7, so repeating myself, if possible, stop buying high calorie foods to keep them out of the house. Number 8, soda water and bitters. Number 9, I think I lost count. Chocolate mint tea with tea creamer, chocolate creamer. Okay, and that is it for Minisode number 127. Thank you guys as always for listening and for watching. See ya.